The cornerbacks continue to shine on day 2 of Eagles minicamp, with Quinyon Mitchell running again with the ones and Cooper DeJean nearly pulling off a one-handed interception of Jalen Hurts. Will Shipley also entered the chat with his best day so far, and Devin flashed yet again as LB1. Also, hear what A.J. Brown had to say about the Eagles' improved secondary and why BG blames the coaches for last year's collapse. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, welcome to day 2 of Eagles minicamp, where the defense continued to dominate, and the rookies, they're starting to earn their stripes more than I thought was possible this early on. The Birds, they're just trying to figure out the depth chart, the pecking order heading into the long offseason before the players report back at the end of July for their first official training camp. And I'll just get this out of the way, James Bradberry did not practice today, shocker, following the mysterious injury during the first drill of warm-ups yesterday. He was there, there's a picture of him on the sideline talking to Vic Fangio, but he did not actually practice. Now, I won't speculate. People get mad at me whenever I speculate. James Bradberry's under contract. He will do that until the Eagles make him no longer under contract, but he was there, didn't practice, seemed okay. Do with that as you will. Also at practice, but without his helmet, was newly retired defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, who, much like Jason Kelce, apparently can't stay away from his beloved Birds. You just wonder what's going on through his head right here. I bet he wishes so badly he hadn't retired. I wonder what it would take to get the big guy back on the field, despite it being basically impossible. Now, Cox's BFF Brandon Graham, of course, did not retire, but he spoke to the media today, and I guess finally decided to admit what all of us have been saying for at least the past 5 months.
I really think that last year, we just didn't. That's what we didn't have. We didn't have all the right coaches in the right position. I would say, and you could just see the guys just truly believing in what we got going on. And I'm excited for the young guys that just came in and new rookies coming in, because they really gonna get a good shot at a good taste of what it really is to be in the NFL.
Well, there it finally was. 5 months a little bit too late, but you did hear that, yes, it sounded like Sean Desai, Brian Johnson, not named, but let's just take a wild guess here. That's probably who he's talking about. We're in over their heads. It's not a shocker. Doesn't really matter anymore because we got a brand new coaching staff, but I'll admit, it's very nice to hear. Oh, also, the random winner of my second pair of Devontae Smith Celebrity Softball Game tickets is, wait for it, Ben G78944. Ben, go in the description box, shoot me an email, screenshot of you logged into your YouTube account, prove it to you. We'll get those tickets sent out very, very soon. And I might have another pair of tickets, so if you didn't win this time, just make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for when I announce those. Okay, before we get back to the actual Eagle news today, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the sponsor for today's video, Keeps. Now, by this point, you've probably heard the name Keeps, or you might have seen a commercial here or there, but if you're still wondering what exactly does Keeps do, well, their whole goal is to help men who've experienced some form of hair loss. And despite me, humble brag, having a nice, lush, full head of hair, look at that, it looks pretty darn good. I had no idea this was such a serious problem for a lot of guys out there. And while Keeps sent me a couple of stuff to help keep my hair as lush and long as it is right now, for those of you guys who are actually losing your hair, they have plenty for you as well. Now, getting started is really simple. All you gotta do is fill out a super easy online consultation where you detail your hair loss journey, and then Keeps creates a personalized treatment plan specifically formulated to address your unique needs, and they ship it right to your door. Now, Keeps sent me their thickening shampoo, they sent me their thickening conditioner, and they also sent me my personal favorite, their thickening pomade. And all these products are designed to work together and enhance your results by making your thinning hair look a whole lot thicker. They have a special formula designed by hair loss experts that supports healthy hair growth with science-backed ingredients like biotin, caffeine, and green tea. Thanks to Keeps for sponsoring today's video and sending over a bunch of free products. Remember, hair loss, it starts with Keeps, and for a special offer, go to keeps.com/Thomas Mott down below in my description box. That's KEEPS.com/Thomas Mott today. Now, the player whose name keeps popping up again and again at practice, at least so far, has been Devin. And today, well, it was no different, as White not only started with the first team linebackers again, alongside Zach Bond, but he also had a sack of Jalen Hurts on one of the 11-on-11 plays. When Cooper DeJean, he ran with the 2s for almost the entire practice. He did get a little run with the 1s. It definitely feels like White is LB1 until proven otherwise. While last season was definitely a tough year for White, it was a down year for sure. He got benched towards the end of the season. He spoke to the media today and said he learned a ton, and he's way more excited to attack this year with Philadelphia and this new defensive scheme.
I don't know if I needed a change of scenery, but I feel like it was definitely good. A breath of fresh air, to be able to start over and, work my way from the ground up. It ain't nothing like life humbling experiences, and I feel like what I went through at the end of the last year was very humbling for me, and obviously just put me back to the root of everything, where I want to build myself back up and I know I can do it. I did it coming out of high school. I did it coming out of college. I did it when I first got in the NFL, and it's time to do it again. And that's the guy that's always had my back. And if he said that, then I really agree because he knows best. You know, like I say, he was a father figure to me still to this day, check in on me. And, I think this new scenery is good. You know, I'm with a great organization. I'm around great people every day. I already had a lot of friends on this team, so it's good to get a chance to play with them. And hopefully I don't have to keep changing sceneries.
Oh, and as far as Vic Fangio's new defense, well, if Devin White is LB1 in it, he's admitting it's pretty complicated right now, and they're trying to install a ton, and he's just trying to learn as fast as possible.
So far, I got a great impression. He's throwing a lot at us right now, so just him being a complicated guy with his scheme, you know, trying to just be expansion, I think he's doing a great job with mixing it up, adding new things, and, just keeping it coming.
Fangio does get a lot of praise for developing pass rushers and cornerbacks historically, but we do forget that Josie Jewell was a fourth-round draft pick out of linebacker and basically, under Vic Fangio, became the anchor of that Denver Broncos defense, wearing the green dot and being the best linebacker on that team. While there's no guarantee that Devin White becomes the old Devin White or becomes as good as Josie Jewell, I, for one, am rooting for him. I really think he's going to be your LB1. Bobby King obviously mentioned that there are no pads. It's hard to gauge linebackers without hitting, but right now, my money is on LB1 being Devin White. And we also had A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert at the podium today, and this whole theme of Kellen Moore's offense is much, much better than it was with Brian Johnson last year. Well, that continued to kind of spill out of both pass catchers' mouths when reporters kind of pushed.
Trusting each other, me and Jalen, Smitty, everybody on the field, just trusting each other to be on the same page, and, make sure you at the spot when it's time. I think that's a pretty good thing, pretty fun thing for our receiver too.
Yeah, there's definitely different stuff for us. Obviously, we're moving around, trying to get tells with the defense. Getting into those quick throws to the tight ends has probably been one of my favorite things that we added into it. I think those can be beneficial for the tight ends and the whole team as a general. So that's probably what I'd have to say.
Now, with all that being said, the theme of the offseason for the Birds has to continually be the secondary absolutely dominating each and every one of these practices, and today really was no different. Like Isaiah Rodgers got the start as cornerback 2 alongside Darius Slay. Remember, yesterday it was Kelee Ringo, but they're obviously switching them both out. They're both very much in play for the starting cornerback spot. And yes, Rodgers, Ringo, and the rookies both look impressive during a lot of the 11-on-11s. Although speaking of one rookie, Quinyon Mitchell, he was back with the ones today, although he did get some time at outside cornerback, his first time doing so, as yesterday he was a slot cornerback with the first teamers for a stretch of plays. Cooper DeJean, he also ran with the ones at nickel for a little bit of time. Did get some outside reps for the first time with the twos, not necessarily with the ones just yet, but it was DeJean's near one-handed interception of Jalen Hurts that had everyone watching extremely impressed during minicamp. For as quiet as Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were the first couple of OTA practices, didn't hear a lot about them, they're very clearly getting more comfortable and finding their stride and getting used in Vic Fangio's defense way more than they did, again, a couple of weeks ago. Still early, but if you were worried about where's Quinyon, where's Cooper, they're definitely making plays all over this defense, especially this early on. Oh, and it helps whenever A.J. Brown gives a pretty good story and seems to rave about Quinyon Mitchell when asked about the young rookie cornerback during his press conference.
Q doesn't talk as much. Guys, I don't think y'all know that. He doesn't really say anything. And the first words I heard from him was like, hey, that route was trash. I said, what? I said, you don't even talk and you talking trash. And so it was funny. It was funny to hear from him, and I told him, I said, all right, I like to see that. I want to see you step up because he's not going to be playing against me. He's going to be playing against other guys. And, I want to see him, hold his own. And I told him, I said, all right, you took the first step, but I said, now you got to back it up. You got to walk that walk. And I've been looking forward to getting some reps against him. So.
Does it surprise you that Quinyon Mitchell is extremely quiet, yet really, really confident? Like, that is exactly what you want in a cornerback. The fact he gets to learn against the best of the best every single day in practice, not just today or tomorrow, but also into training camp, it's got to be a huge thing for the first-round draft pick. Now, my best guess right now is that Isaiah Rodgers will be the other starter opposite of Slay. Could be Ringo. He's been impressive, but he's still a little bit young. Maybe he separates in training camp. I'm just guessing here, but I think Rodgers right now would be QB2 next to Darius Slay, with Ringo and Mitchell very, very close behind. Although A.J. Brown doesn't really have a preference, he got really high praise for both Rodgers and Ringo during his presser as well.
Kelee is difficult at times, going against, because you go against him. I go against him a lot. He's definitely growing. you can see a different step with him. You know, I'm not gonna put too much pressure on him up here, but you definitely see a different step with him, and you know he's hungry. You know, he's competing at a high level. For a guy that has not played football for a year and coming back, it looks like he's been playing nonstop. Honestly, I'm gonna give praise to him, give him his flowers. You can tell he loves football. You know, he's happy to be back. You can tell he's jumping all over the field. You know, he just literally just told me and walked through. He's gonna have 2 picks today, and I told him not against me, but go get him though. You know, but he's happy, man. He's happy to be back. You know, he's flying around. You know, and he's going to do special stuff for it this year.
Now, some other surprise standouts today. How about rookie running back Will Shipley? There's a name we have not mentioned basically at all. And so Brandon Lee Gouton tweeted today that Will Shipley has had an active day catching the ball to the backfield, his best practice by far thus far. Not much to go on, but for those wondering, the Clemson touchdown machine, he's so far holding his own at an NFL level. Other big moments during practice today. How about an 11-on-11 rep with featured Jalen Carter knocking Tyler Steen to the ground, which shouldn't shock anybody because Jalen Carter is going to be a monster in year 2. Oh, and John Ross, he also had a nice one-handed catch from Kenny Pickett today on one of the out routes with the 2s. Still, though, Ross did get first-team reps as well, according to ESP, and according to everybody else, continues to be very, very impressive, and I think his roster spot early, but definitely seems like he's locked that one down. Now, I've said a lot before that Jalen Hurts' up and down practices so far, you can't take much from them. They're probably forcing things. You got to learn Kellen Moore's new offense. So we take everything I'm about to tell you with a grain of salt. But according to ESPN's write-up today, it was another pretty iffy day for Hurts so far, saying, quote, most of Hurts' completions were short checkdowns under 10 yards. Hurts had 2 chances for long touchdowns, but missed both throws. The first was a deep route to Goedert on the right side, where Goedert had a step on his man. The pass was off and didn't hit Goedert in stride, falling incomplete. Should have been a touchdown. Second was a deep pass to A.J. Brown. The play got a flag for offsides, which is worth noting, but Brown still ran the deep route and beat his man. Hurts just overthrew him. Hurts' worst throw of the day was an interception to Reed Blankenship. Hurts threw the ball right to Blankenship, who was in front of Devontae Smith. A bad decision by Hurts. Hurts was nearly picked off again towards the end of practice when Cooper DeJean perfectly read Hurts, jumped the pass, and nearly came down with it. Hurts' best throw of the day was to Goedert, who was covered well by DeJean, but the 15-yard completion was perfectly placed to Goedert along the sideline. The defense continues to win against the offense so far in practices open to the media. Stats, 15 of 20, no touchdowns, and a pick. Again, we don't panic, but you guys want to know what happens at the practices. We don't have video footage of any of these. The Eagles won't allow it, but that's how Jalen Hurts' day has gone. Up and down the past couple of days, and again, he's trying to learn a brand new offense, and it's a complicated offense. We played you clips earlier of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, obviously Dallas Goedert saying there's a lot of moving parts. It's going to take time to learn these things. We don't panic yet. Let's wait till actual games or maybe just training camp, maybe joint practices. I don't know when you want to start panicking, but I'm definitely not hitting any sort of button anytime soon. Now, of course, there's another minicamp practice tomorrow, meaning another full breakdown. Be sure to hit that sub button. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff, including giveaways as well. Stay tuned for that. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.